And away we go. Hey, bro.
Hey, what up, bro?
Hey, bro.
What's up, brother?
You guys want a salty guy? We're not called getting salty for anything, bro. We got the saltiest of the salty guys.
He ain't got no pepper either.
He was in the Bronx when the Bronx was burning, 45 engine over the 37, then skipped the 38 truck. He wanted to skip numbers. And then he spent 20 years in the ghetto of Brooklyn as a lieutenant in 120 truck before going to SOC and Squad 18 and Rescue 4. With no further ado, we've got Dennis Gordon.
Hold on, where is it?
Come on, hit it. There we go.
So I hate to interrupt before Dennis even gets started, but Anthony Gonzo, you just won the prize and you didn't even know that you won a prize.
Anthony Gonzo. We were wondering the first guy who was going to make fun of mine and Louis' shirt. Anthony Gonzo, please send us your name and address, and we will send you a Frio prize. Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, this wasn't done on purpose, by the way.
Nope.
We only got
all right.
We only got 3 shirts, so what? I mean, it's only a matter of time before we have the same shirt on. You know?
We wore it for Dennis because he started out in the Bronx, and he's going to tell us a little about when he got on back in the beginning of time, back in the 70s. Oh, yeah, 78, class of 78.
78, same class as Hash.
Holy shit!
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Who's that? Hash. Where was he from?
There he is.
Look at that guy. Look at that guy.
That guy had it all in front of him there, bro.
Yeah, that was long hair was okay back then.
It's like Mick Jagger or something. Who is that guy, bro?
That was Rapid Water there, right? 45, Rapid Water.
Yeah. We didn't really use it, but they had it.
So that's where you went out of probie school. Let us know. Talk to us about how you got on the job, when you got on the job. Why
I went to 45 right from probie school. Well, I knew a couple of guys on the job before I got on, and they turned me on to it. Mm-hmm. I knew a guy, Robert Finesilver, in my neighborhood, and he used to take. You know him?
No.
He used to take me in the 35 engine. I mean, I must, I was like I don't know how old I was. It had to be 73 or something like that. And I was like, wow, and then I met a guy, Mike Bradley, who was a lieutenant of 58 truck. And I became friends with him. And that's how I wound up going to 45 because he was a lieutenant in 58. And, but even before that, I met, I also lived near a dispatcher and a Brooklyn dispatcher. And he hooked me up with RES4CUE. I mean, I was still in high school and I rode with Vigiano when they were
I didn't know that.
When they were on Carlton.
Myrtle and Carlton, 210. Yeah. That's why I went out of probie school, 210.
And that was in
was that Warren? Was that Warren?
The dispatcher I knew Warren.
Oh, all right.
They worked together. So, I got between that and watching Emergency on TV, I decided I want to be a fireman.
Emergency.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Kevin.
We forgot.
The word of the day.
The word of the day is hipster.
I was going to go with skinny jeans, but hipster sounded.
Very nice.
Hey, you felt it right. Good.
So you were a volley too, weren't you?
I was in North Belmore for a year.
Oh, I thought you were Freeport volley.
No, that was Hash and Mole. I knew Hank from even before the job. And
funny you should mention Mole because I spoke to him today and he told me that you were supposed to get him to 45 engine, or you told him to go to 45 engine because you were in 45 engine. And then he said when he told somebody that he wanted to go to 45 engine in probie school, you already left to go to the truck. So he was saying that you wouldn't be able to put up with Mole going to 45 engine because that place was only big enough for one guy like you. So you had to leave. You had to skip. According to him, you had to skip out of 45 engine.
It's true. I've been running from him my whole career.
But you did tell him to go to 45 engine, right? I mean,
I honestly don't remember.
Oh, you're talking about a long time ago. That's why.
But
he was class of 79, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know. But Brian Hickey, I told him to come to 38 truck, and he did.
Brian Hickey, RES4CUE.
Yes, Captain Hickey.
Yep. So you go to 45 engine. Right? How did you get the 45 engine? You used a hook, or what'd you do?
No, I took the 2 train usually.
Oh, this guy.
He's got them all. He's got more lines than a fishing boat.
Mike Bradley, who was a lieutenant in the truck.
Oh, he got you over.
He goes, you want to go to 45 engine? Because I'd gone in there and rode with him a couple of times, and I'm like, fuck yeah, are you kidding me? I mean, it was.
So that was the time that the Bronx was burning. 45.
It was 78. We did over 7,000 runs my first year.
7,000 runs, bro.
No EMS.
7,000 runs. And
wow.
They did 7,800 the year before. And like I said, there was no EMS. There really weren't gas leaks, and
right.
A lot of 9.2s. It was fires and 9.2s, basically.
Yeah. No class 3s up there, bro.
No class 3s.
Was it you were doing obviously a lot of vacants?
A lot of vacant work. I mean, a good amount of occupied too. But yeah, vacants were just every day. Vacant to vacant. And the thing that sucked when I got there, they were still doing the interchange program. So it was like every other night we had to go to another company.
Right.
Like we swapped with the solar company.
But interchange.
Well, we lost him.
It was when there were companies, so they would.
I don't hear him.
Interchange. You would swap. Froze up. Me?
Yeah, you're free.
Yeah, you, Kev.
Who's frozen?
You are.
Kevin.
Me?
You're all right now. You're all right. Go ahead.
Break my balls now.
Here
it comes. Yeah, so they would take a slow company and switch them with a busier company for the night tour. Usually night tours, right?
Just for the night tour, yeah. We used to go, one night we go to 320, and then we come home. And then the next night we went to 89 engine, which is probably, that neighborhood probably works now. It's sort of funny. And so, I didn't like doing that. And they were 4-man engines, so we used to leave a guy behind. But I never got to go. I never got to stay behind. That was for the senior guys.
So how long you in 45 engine before you go to your first job?
My first tour.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I remember one of my first jobs because it was on Westchester Avenue. We used to go to a lot of taxpayers there.
Right.
And actually, we were riding the back step, and I was on the back step, and we pull up, and there's fire out of like 3 floors, and 3 stores, and I just stood there holding on to the handrail, and the boss is like, Dennis, and I was just fucking holding on, staring there, and he's like, let's go, stretch the line.
So you were actually riding the back step when you got on?
Yeah, we were still riding the back step.
Holy shit!
These guys. Wow. When I got on the job, there hadn't been much hiring for a while, right? Because 75 guys were laid off, right? And then 77, they started hiring, like the list that Mike was on, Milner, the 3-for-1. So really, there was only, there weren't a lot of new guys, and not a lot of young guys, So I had all these teachers, these guys who'd been, to hell and back. And, yeah, they it just became pretty ordinary for them. What was extraordinary for
man.
Yeah. So these guys just jumped on the back step. They didn't even get dressed. They had their coat and helmet in the bed, and their boots, and And I was watching them. We just learned how to dress on the back step. We'd take our shoes off, throw them in the hose bed, and put on the boot. And the guy next to you would help you put your coat on.
Is that right?
And
that's crazy, man.
And
you forget full speed. You're going out full speed down these blocks, yes?
Yeah, I didn't ever see anyone fall off.
But they have. Right. And what about Scott packs? You guys didn't wear any Scott packs or anything back then?
Well, it's sort of funny you say that because it was strongly discouraged.
Really?
Oh yeah. So I had a boss, one of the best bosses I ever worked with, Jack Main. Wacky Jack, they used to call him. He was fireman in 31 truck in the 60s. He was in Rescue 3. He was like, I got there and I thought, wow, this is like the shit. And they're like, kid, the fucking war's over. It's over.
It's
I'm
70,
like,
It's 78. They're telling him it's
yeah,
over.
it's 78, because everything is fucking relative in the fire department, right?
yeah.
You know, like you're only as good as your last
We
job.
say that all the time, man.
You know, and I'm like, huh? Yeah, but we went to 3 jobs last night. Yeah, well, you know what? In 74, we went to 6. Yeah.
That's
And we had
crazy.
3 companies responding out of here, and we had a 2nd section, and we had 2 battalion chiefs, and, you know, and it was like 30-40% of the job was doing that at the time, you know.
Yeah.
It's so funny when it's your time, right? It's your that's the best time, right? We talked about that in a previous episode. Like when it's your time, you know, you feel like it's the best, you know, and then as soon as you leave, it's never, you know, it's not that good anymore, you know. It's not.
Generations you hear guys say, the job ain't the same anymore, kid. Job ain't the same anymore, kid. Job ain't the same anymore.
Every single year of my caar, I heard that from the
Yeah,
guys before.
Must be going
what
around.
the fuck
'cause
is
that's
the
what we
saying?
say.
Yeah. So how much? I mean, you must have had a ton of fun in that place, then, huh? I mean, it must have been
It was
not
crazy. The Bronx,
just going to fires, no bullshit, right?
well, the neighborhood too. Like if you knew what the city was like back then, like you got to imagine like New York City is a place where real estate at that time was virtually, you know, worthless.
Right.
You know, there's just been like a big recession and layoffs, and you know, it was like, I mean, there was no gentrification, right? Nothing had been rebuilt, nothing had been repurposed. And the Bronx was like fucking crazy.
Like a war zone.
It
right?
was the
Like a
Wild
war
West, but I mean, there was no police presence. Like I don't even know where the cops were.
zone. It's just
You
the
know,
Wild West.
It was the fucking Wild West. There people running down the streets with fucking machetes and shit. You know, I mean, it was.
It was warriors. Come out and
Yeah,
play.
Warriors. Come
Yeah,
on.
I mean, you see pictures of the Bronx back then. I swear to God, you could be looking at pictures of
Beirut or something, right?
or London during World War II. Like,
Right.
but then it's like all the buildings
The
are burnt
raids.
out. Some of them are collapsed, right? It
We
was
had blocks and blocks where there might be one building standing.
it's
Especially,
crazy.
especially south of the Cross Bronx, where we
Right.
ran in with 80, because we ran a lot with 82 and 31,
Right.
and 46 and 27, the Cross Bronx over there, and that whole area had been like devastated. You'd pull into a block, and there'd just be like a couple of buildings per block, you know, and it was insane,
That's crazy.
I mean,
Yeah.
Just
Like
like
all
that.
that, like that.
just like that.
holy.
I mean, I loved it. I mean, you know.
So how long after? How many years did you do that before you went to? You just said I got to get to the truck.
I did 3 years.
So that's usually like a good time if you plan on.
Yeah,
going.
I mean, in those days, you know, you learn the job very quickly. I mean, you know, the thing is, it's all about opportunity. If you have, you know, the fires, you have the opportunity, you'll learn. If you're not going to a lot of fires, it's going to take you longer. So, you know, I had the opportunity, and I had the senior men, the teachers, you know, the guys who.
Right. So 3 years back then would be like 10 years today or more.
30.
Yeah, right?
Oh, I know what I wanted to tell you, Dennis. You remember the other day we did a back in the day on the Happy Land fire, and we talked about that, right? So 45 engine was first due, right? I had called you to see if you were working that day, right? And you had said no, you had already been promoted out of there, right?
Yes.
Right. So you were out there a couple of years. So I said to you, hey, listen, you know anybody on the job that I would know that, you know, would, you know, that you could get me in touch with, that we could get on the show so that it would be like a firsthand thing. And you're like, all right, I'll think about it. I'll get back to you. What part of the guy with the nozzle didn't you remember that you could have got me in touch with? Do you remember who that was?
Well, I'm going to tell you. No, I didn't know, but I was told today, because I was talking to Larry Tompkins today.
Ah, all right.
Oh,
That's another
Larry's
guy I
the
want to
guy,
talk
man.
to.
And Larry goes, do you know what we were talking about? He goes, because he said they did a show on the Happy Land. And I said, yeah, I know. I didn't get to see it. And he goes, do you know who the nozzle man was? I go, no. He goes, Paulie Soman.
Paulie Soman. So I'm like,
And I'm like, how did he get the nozzle? He was in the truck.
dude, the next morning after we did that show, like 4 or 5 guys texted me. They're like, Soman had the nozzle. I'm like, what? I could have called Paulie up and he could have been on the show. I'm like, wait till I get to this. I'm going to break his balls. I'm going to wait until I get him on the show. I'm going to.
You
break
should
his
get
balls.
him. He's a great guy, man.
He's a good guy.
Great
Yeah.
officer. Yep.
Yeah,
He's down in Florida. Who are you talking about? Larry or Paulie?
Paulie.
Oh, he's down in Florida now. He lives right down the same block as Hank Malay.
Oh, is that right?
Hank doesn't live in Freeport?
He left.
Freeport.
Yeah, man. So were you a hipster back in the day, bro? Oh,
amen. You got a drink, Dennis.
You know. Oh, whenever you say the word of the day?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What's everybody drinking anyway?
Vodka.
I got vodka.
What?
Yeah, man. I change it up.
Dennis
Vodka
is going
tonic.
with the Tito's, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I got Tito's too.
Oh. See, I don't have Tito's. I went with the cheaper Tito's today. And it's called Steel Dust. What?
Maybe they'll
Nice.
sponsor us. We got no sponsors. They hate us.
No, right.
No one hates us yet. They will soon.
All right, so Dennis, get back to Dennis. So he goes to the truck. You said you went to 37 or you went to 38?
37 first.
I went to 37 briefly, and then I went to 38.
What?
I was trying to get to 30. Oh, it's a long story. I'd gotten lifted and in trouble. And we don't want to get into that. I didn't even do anything. I took the fucking rap for another guy.
Never heard of it. Never heard of it.
But I wound up getting back there. They realized they owed me.
So you went to 37, or you wanted to go to 38. You got in trouble, so you went to 37.
Yes, it was. I had to leave the area, and then I came back.
You had to leave.
I'll tell you what happened.
We got some pictures of him when he was at 37, right, Pete?
No, wait. He's going to tell us what happened.
Oh,
yeah.
go ahead.
It's not as juicy as you think.
Shit.
I don't want to disappoint. So I was on a skin to 38.
Right.
Onion skin, remember them?
Oh, back in the day, yeah, you're on the skin.
Yeah. So anyway, I was on a skin, and there was a guy in 38, Bill Tulipane, who was the union delegate, and I was entitled to a summer vacation that year by the chart. But the captain wasn't giving it to me because I was the junior guy, and I was on a skin to another company. I had no problem with that.
Right.
And Tulipane wanted to split the vacation with me so he could have a summer. And I'm like, dude, I'm not doing anything. He filed a grievance. And
What?
Back he's a crazy motherfucker.
Holy mackerel.
And back then, no, that shit didn't fly. And and so the thing got squashed, nothing happened, and they said, fuck you, you're out of the company. And it made me stay out for a while, and then I got back.
All right.
And that was it.
So Dennis, we were talking about this picture before, right?
Yeah, that's the Prince. Yeah,
is that a 10-foot hook?
7-foot hooks.
7-foot hook. All right, I like it.
Yeah. They had bigger hooks back then. I don't know what the guys were bigger.
Bigger fires, bigger hooks. That's it, man.
Joe Principio over there.
Who was 38 trucking with?
88.
Oh, 38 and 88. Right.
Yeah.
Your first two at Yankee Stadium?
No in Bronx Zoo. The Bronx Zoo.
Oh, the Bronx Zoo. Okay. I had my landmarks mixed up. And you were there with Tough Timmy Kelly?
No, Tough Timmy Gallagher.
Oh, but you were there with Timmy Kelly, too.
And Timmy Kelly. Timmy came to the truck, too. He was in 88.
Was he there before you? He came after you?
He God, who remembers? I think he came after me. I think. He was in the engine.
Was he really?
In 88. And then he came to 38.
Was that place immaculate like it is? It's always been like that? It was like that.
Yes. Al Miskowitz, one of the senior guys in the truck, kept that rig he treated it like it was his own. Yeah.
Wow. I covered there one day. I went in there. I thought I was walking into a museum. Like the place is like incredibly clean. Like you wouldn't even believe you're in I'm telling you, it's incredible. Especially coming from 290 and 103.
That was a seriously senior truck when I got there.
So you got there with 7 years. What did the senior man have?
Oh, the average guy there was probably between 15, 20 years.
Wow. No shit.
Yeah, no, they were old. I mean, I had a boss who was a World War II vet, Leo Fricazzi.
Holy shit.
He was unbelievable. Yeah, he was a sergeant, tank sergeant under Patton in Germany.
Wow.
Somewhere in Europe.
Wow. You must be real old then, Dennis.
No. I'm just in my 60s. I'm getting Social Security. That's all I'm telling you.
That's it, man. That's it.
Amen, brother. Amen. So you go to 38 truck, and how long you in 38 truck for before you get
I
promoted?
got promoted from roughly 81 to 87.
All right, so 6
And I
years,
studied.
yes,
I worked
7 years,
Yeah.
13 years, and then you get promoted with you know who.
Oh, we got a picture of that.
Your brother.
We got a picture.
Oh,
Hey,
hold
where's
on.
it at, Pete?
Oh, I'm looking for it. The picture says Chief Kubler.
What?
He said that too.
Where is he? Where is he tonight anyway? I wonder.
He's
All right, so hold on. That if you look in the dead center of the picture, that's Chief Kleehouse in towards the back of the row there with the
Patty
mustache.
Brown in the
Patty Brown's in the front
left.
row.
We carpooled to Flips.
you and
Dennis
Patty
is-
Brown.
Yep. He lived in Startown. I lived on 10th Street in the east side.
Dennis is in the back center
I'm
there.
way in the back.
Pull up Dennis, Pete.
I'm pulling.
That's what your old lady said.
You're right.
Hey,
No,
first
that's
dude.
Chief Steve.
I know where Chief Steve. Dennis is right back
Right.
here.
Up there,
Right.
you know, you passed
Left,
him.
right there.
Right
I'm next to Kleehouse.
Dennis has like the six head there. He's got like a 5 or 6 head.
Yeah, I
there.
don't know.
He's got the quaff going on. He's got the quaff.
Quafferino. And then look who it is.
Nobody
same
would recognize
class.
this guy. Nobody would recognize
Hey.
him now. Oh, Chief Steve.
Oh, Chief
there he is.
Steve.
Wait, Pete, do you have the new lyrics or you didn't put that together yet?
Not yet. Not yet.
Holy, this would have been a perfect time.
Well, listen. It's been
I
a
know you're
busy week.
guy.
Oh,
All right.
Steve was you guys were all getting promoted to lieutenant at this time? Is that what's
That's the only
happening?
promotion I ever got.
No, but he's like there's a guy there. He's getting promoted to captain there, obviously, right? The guy.
No, Tedeschi. Not Tedeschi. That's nah. I don't. He already had his lieutenant's uniform.
He bought it when he got on the job.
No shit.
Oh, that's Mike Teleska.
Teleska.
Wow.
Hey,
Hey, did Chief Steve smile at all the whole time you were in Flips?
I'll tell you what I'll tell you what he wouldn't have been smiling about.
Those white socks there, bro. He would not be smiling at those white socks. Hey, what's that guy got in his hand?
7 Up.
7 Up?
7 Up.
Where is that? Is that in the Bronx? Or is that
38.
That's a 38 truck?
Yeah, that's Danny Potter.
Danny Potter.
He's retired a while. Good dude.
White socks and 7 Up.
We had a
Got
lot of
Nice.
fun.
Oh, Chief Steve would not be happy with that,
And
bro.
jeans.
and
Right.
jeans. And you just came back from 2 jobs.
Yeah. All right, so here's the most impressive part. You get promoted and you get over to a 120 truck in Brooklyn where you spend 20 years as a
15.
lieutenant. 15?
15.
15 years?
Oh, I thought it was 20 years.
Nah, only 15.
Only.
Oh, only 15 years. 15 years in a 120 truck as a lieutenant.
Loved
You got
it.
those pictures, Pete?
Loved every freaking
Yeah.
minute of it.
And
I do.
Here's the big question, Dennis. How do you get used to going from the no, you first. No, you first. No, you first.
No, after
Rock.
you. No,
Right.
after you.
Oh no, you go. No, oh no, you fuck my sister. Oh no, you go first. How do you get used to from that to the the cutting off, getting in first mentality of Brooklyn?
Oh, that was a hard adjustment. Well, the deal was, it's like, you go to a place, you got to sort of go along with their program. You can't like try to change anything. It didn't matter what I thought. The Bronx was like, the guys are like, don't run. They chit chat when they were walking up to the building for a job. It was just like, it was casual. You never tried to beat somebody in. Matter of fact, if they were half a block away and your second due and the first due was coming, you stopped and you let them in. But that I'm sure, I don't know if it's still like that in the Bronx, but it was like, that was the deal. If you were in the truck, you always helped the engine stretch the line up the stairs with another hand. You held your tools in one hand, you grabbed the hose and gave him a hand, and yeah.
Yeah.
There was none of that shit going on when you went to 120 truck.
What's that?
There was none of that shit going on when you went to 120 truck.
Never.
Never.
No. So yeah, and then it was a competitive spirit in Brooklyn, and I got into it. I went with the program, and I enjoyed it. Guys were so into the job. I mean, they knew so much. They were so together. Really, it was like, That's where I learned to be a boss, was from those guys in 120, the firemen. I mean, they were so position oriented, you know. I mean, they knew all the buildings in the area, all their first 2 buildings. I mean, it was amazing, really. I learned. I watched those guys for the first couple of years, and just sort of went along with for the ride, you know, and figured it out.
Any difference in the way, you know, the guys in the Bronx would attack a fire in the way that the guys in Brooklyn would, or, you know, basically the same?
And that was, you know, the buildings were different. You know what I mean?
Right.
But listen, I was really fortunate. I worked in really good companies, really aggressive places. They were equally as good. You know, I think it goes more it's house by house or company by company than by borough.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because there's good companies and not so good every borough. So
there's A teams and B teams everywhere, right?
Yeah. They had
in every profession.
They had A, B, and C companies. You remember that?
Yeah, they did have the A, B, and C.
That was embarrassing, right?
Yeah.
Where are you? C company.
Dennis, didn't somebody, it was Nobody Does It Better, right? Then didn't somebody put nobody on their rig? Like,
yeah, 107.
107 put we're nobody.
Well, I could have told him that.
Oh shit! I love it. I love it.
He's got the old Brooklyn still in him, bro.
Competition.
I love the competition.
Did we even talk to each other when you were in 290?
You know what? It was so funny when I first said I want to get Dennis on, and then I start thinking about it. I'm like, holy shit, man! When I first got to Brooklyn, I was in 290, and I don't think there was more of a nemesis than 120 truck, right? It's just the two of the companies, and I think one of my first runs, we were talking about that during the week. I forget. I think it's on Williams. I forget the block there where we would go past the block, the building. It's like a big complex, and the hydrant. Again, Dennis, like you said, they know every building. They know where the hydrant is on the block. They know everything because it's such a smaller area. And they pull one of the first runs I had. They pull past the building, and I get out of the rig, and I'm going into the building as a brand new lieutenant. You know, maybe 6 months, and I hear the chauffeur say something to 120 that, you know, my hydrant's up there. Don't come down the block. So I go into the building. I come out, and the 120 is like nose to nose with 290. And the guys are talking. And then the next thing I hear over the radio is, hey, 90, you know, you can't get water from a parked car or something like that, you know. So I ended up, I don't even remember if I ended up calling up Dennis. And I have to say, even for that scenario, what he's talking about, Dennis is talking about how ruthless it is and how competitive it is. I became very good friends with Dennis, you know, and then when I went to 103, it was a little bit different, you know what I mean? Even as, you know, being in the truck, but, and that just kept progressing when we went to SOC. I mean, we've always had this competition, you know, he's always been in a different company, any company, you know, if there's somebody that's your rival.
Been a gentleman, Louis, without exception.
And you too, brother. It's always, and it's tough to, you know, we're always, I want to do best by the guys and you want to do best by the guys, always.
You know, you think of the alternative, right? If guys like weren't into it and weren't aggressive and didn't give a shit. So I'll take it this way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Any day. And the guys would do anything for anybody, you know, I mean, yeah. But I almost only had like one fight on the job. And that was in that competition that we were having with you guys. We went to we had a job in a high-rise project on 429 Dumont. I still remember the box and the number. And we're first due, 103 second due, and we pull up like nose to nose, like just 103 pulls up like maybe 3 seconds after us. And I get off the rig and I'm walking up to the building, you know, and I'm looking up and I'm counting the floors, and there's smoke, heavy smoke coming out of the eighth floor, and just about to go into the building, and 3 guys come running past me, right through the fucking door, right? And I'm fairly new, and this is pretty new in 120. Like I don't have the Brooklyn routine down yet, right? And bing, the elevator door opens up, and these 3 guys run into the elevator, and it's the second due truck.
Oh my God.
And I'm looking at the guys, I'm like, what the fuck? so I'm like, come on, fuck these guys. We're taking the stairs, and we ran up to the 8th floor and we beat them, you know, and we got in the apartment and we're doing our thing. And the two companies, we collide in the apartment while we're searching. Nobody, they have no fucking idea that we're in there.
Holy
And we're
shit.
screaming and yelling, and the battalion chief comes up and he pulls us apart, and they don't even have water on the fire yet.
That sounds about right. That
Oh
sounds
man,
about right.
it was fucking awesome.
But that's, I mean,
So
part
much
of that.
fun.
I mean,
So
now
much
that
fun.
as you get older, right? You get older, you're like, man, come on. But when you're in that, like you said, Dennis, when you're in that mentality and you're in there and you're younger and you're aggressive and you want to do good, you know, you conform to what's going on with the guys. You know, it really is true.
Yeah, and when you're a boss, you got to do what's good for your company. I mean, if you can't, like, if you don't believe in that competition, tough shit. You know, it's not about you. You got the other five guys there. You know, you gotta look out for your guys. If the guys, it's like when you're in SOC, right? If the guys want to go to work, you got to do whatever you got to do to put them to work, right?
Absolutely.
Can I ask you? I'm just curious from all you guys in the room, but especially Dennis. Do you think that this kind of competition is a positive, or is it a net negative for the department and for the crews that are working?
I think it's a good thing. It's you know, as long as it doesn't get out of control and there's a limit.
Right.
You know,
competition makes everybody better, man. It makes you faster. It makes you turn out faster.
Yeah,
it makes you sharper. It makes you listen. If you're not prepared and you're not up to speed, like Dennis was saying, somebody's going to walk right past you. Like we were talking about the other day with Dan. There was no, let's talk about it. What do you think? I'm first due. The guys, if you don't run up the stairs, the guys are taking the elevator. Now, you know, maybe in the Bronx, they don't agree with that, which I get, but that's how it was. And from when Dennis got there, that was when, in the 80s, you said, right?
I got there in 90.
Yeah. So that's, you know, that's mayhem there. It was still mayhem there. You know what I mean? It might not have been the 70s, but it was mayhem there, you know?
Nobody was reckless, right? Like,
Right.
Guys, you know, and I'll tell you what, you know, if I was second due to 103, you know, and 290, like I had nothing to worry about if I was on the floor above. You know, if 90 had the line, it's like those fucking guys would put out hell. You know, like even though we had the rivalry and we cursed at each other at our job, like I didn't think twice about it, really.
And I did the
And
same.
that's the bottom line. You know, it wasn't like one of those companies where like, oh fuck, should we go above? Like,
yeah, right.
Like, look who's on the fire floor. You know, I mean, they're gonna have water. Like, there's no doubt. There was never a doubt in my mind.
I guess it didn't take you too long before you figured out the game over there. They didn't run past you too many times before they were like, nah.
I think that was the only time. That was the first
Yeah.
You only have to screw me one time, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Hey, listen. I went to a fire in 103's quarters, you know. Were you there when that happened, Louis?
I wasn't, but I saw pictures of it. I did. Yeah.
We got there first, dude. It's out the windows. And
That's right. You guys were first to that, right? That's right. They were.
We're like, what are we gonna do?
We're gonna wreck everything. That's what we're gonna do, bro.
Shit. That's fucking great. That's
and when they ran by you on that job, were they yelling out, "Yo, Dorothy, you're not in the fucking Bronx anymore, bro"?
They didn't know who the fuck I was.
All right, let's talk about some of Dennis's fires, bro, because I know he's got a lot of fire stories, bro.
Let's talk about the one where the picture that I posted on Instagram today, the last few days, where he has the kid. He's coming out of the picture from Warren Fuchs. Tell us about that, Dennis.
120 truck.
Yeah, he's in 120 truck.
Yeah, that was very, very early 90s. I was just in the company.
Is this the one here?
Yes.
Actually, we were like the third truck, but what happened was there was another job in that area. It was way down Sterling. It's probably like a 123 and a 111 box. They were out at another job, so we got in. It was a job in a brownstone on the floor above the parlor floor, and it was going pretty good. And that little girl in that picture her mother was a crackhead, and apparently I found out later, actually I read it in the newspaper, the mother had left the kid alone and gone out, and she'd been arrested, and she left her again, and the kid was playing in the closet with a lighter, and they had dry cleaning clothes, and the closet went up and the whole second floor went up, and you know, I found her in the closet.
You guys were first due? Or
we were first. We wound up being first due, yeah.
Wound up being first due, and you're doing a search, and you find her in a closet.
Yep. You know what? The closet door was open. I couldn't see, But I swept, you know, and I mean, if the closet door wasn't open, I don't know if I would have hit it or not.
And you were saying that she lived for a day or two. You said that
Yeah,
was talking about it.
A couple of days. Then she passed in the hospital.
That sucked.
So,
That picture, that's a pretty strong picture right there, bro. To have to make a grab is one thing, and then to have somebody snap a picture of you, you know, I mean, you see it in your face right there. You know what I mean? It's like we had a picture of Mikey Milner too the other day. Like you see it. I mean, that's as real as it gets right there, man. No doubt.
Yeah, it was a shame because you know, the mom had done it before, but you know, it's a tough city, man. New York's a tough place. A lot of people with a lot of issues. It's a hard life for a lot of people,
especially in that area, bro.
Yeah, that's no joke.
Nope.
And more so back then than now. Now it's like, you know, kind of a playground for the rich and their kids. You know, they send them out to the city and they're paying their $5,000 a month studios. But back then, you know, I remember, man, walking around feeling unsafe. It was rough.
When I lived on 10th Street between First and A. I moved in there in around 80. And the city was giving away buildings for $1.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
We had abandoned old law tenements. They had there was a couple of different programs. There was a sweat equity program where you could get the building for free if you were, you know, willing to work on it, to renovate it. And just a couple, you've just paid the back taxes because owners had walked away, you know. So yeah. I mean, I never had the foresight to see the value of that at that time. And I wasn't thinking about that. I'm 20 something years old, riding a motorcycle, being a fireman, you know, I'm not thinking about investing in real estate.
Did you have skinny jeans?
With the long hipster hair. The long hipster
hair. We were both thinking the same thing.
You know, I had a girlfriend who worked in fashion. She bought me the jeans. She made me wear them.
Huckapoo shirt. You know he had the Huckapoo shirt on now.
Oh, yeah. Well, back in the 80s, he had the Huckapoo shirt.
He knows.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the one where you made the grab and you saved the whole family and you went to Medal Day. Let's talk about that one. I saw that at the pictures and stuff on that one.
Oh, that was when was that? That was 2000 at 315 Livonia. Yeah, we had fire on the 13th floor.
Hated those buildings.
Bad buildings.
I hated those buildings.
Fire on the 13th floor. I had Mikey Cummings was my irons man, amazing fireman, and Brian Gallagher was a probe. He had the can, the son of Freddie Gallagher, the chief. Captain of Rescue 2.
Rescue 2.
Yes, and Mike Gallagher's brother. Yeah, so we get up there. We get to the 13th floor. We get to the apartment. We take the door. There's heavy fire in the living room. To the right, it's a big apartment, 3-bedroom apartment, and lines, you know, a long way off coming. And so anyway, we decide we're going to try to make a search. And I have, you know, Brian's like, I don't even know if it was his first job or not. He was still a probie. He had the can. I said, listen, stay here at the door. You know, use your can, hold this back. Me and Mike are going to try to make a quick dash in the back. So, you know, we're crawling back together. I said, take this bedroom. And I headed for the next bedroom. And I hear from Chief Brown in the 4-4. He calls me on the radio. He's like, Dennis, I'm on the, I can't remember what side. I'm on the 2 side. I said, I got a hand. I can barely see a hand sticking through the smoke out a window. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So I push to the back bedroom. I get to the bedroom. Mike comes back there. And there's 2 adults and 3 kids. And they're sort of semi-conscious, laying on the floor. We start sharing our masks with them. And Brian Gallagher goes, Lou, he calls me the can. He goes, I'm out of water, and your way is blocked now. Fire's coming down the hall.
Wow.
And I'm like, fuck, where's the line, right? So I'm like, Mike, look out the door. And he cracks the door to the room because we shut the door, and it's fucking roaring behind the door. And I'm like, oh, 283. 283 is trying to hook up to the standpipe, and they fucking painted over the outlet numerous times.
I couldn't get it open.
And they're trying to get the cat. Yeah, I mean, I'm listening to the radio. Anyway, we're sharing the air film. We're getting our asses kicked, and I think it was Brian Davin. I'm not sure who's the chief now. He was the roof man in the apartment above.
Right.
And he goes, Lou, we're going to set up a roof rope rescue. And they started doing that. And he told me that the fire was coming out the window, and it was actually, it had cracked the glass on the floor above, on the 14th floor. And finally, 83 got water. You know, they were setting up their thing. We were just giving them our air and hanging out on the floor. And all of a
Wow,
sudden,
pretty lucky.
I could feel the temperature drop and hear the water banging off the walls. And that was it. They all lived. Everybody was fine, you know.
Wow. And which medal did you get for that?
The Ubana.
Cool. Which medal did he get? The
What's
huge
that?
boner? He got the huge boner.
Boner.
He got the huge boner medal.
I had heard
That's a great grab, dude.
I had heard that hipsters have the huge bonus, bro. So,
I'm hitting the button heavy because Frank Sutphin asked because his wife hates the horn.
oh, Frankie, here's
How
to
do you
your
get-
old lady, bro.
How did you get the boner in them pants?
In the skinny jeans? I don't know, bro. Who was that? Frank who?
Frank Sutphin.
Oh, his wife hates the horn?
She hates the horn, man.
You know what they say about Frank's old lady, right? We're first doing her old lady's box, bro. Oh! What the fuck is that?
Hey, Dennis, I wanted to talk a little bit about, I know what we had talked about it during the week too. The Kevin Kane fire, right? That was,
Yeah.
where were you working with that?
I was working OT in 175.
Wow. And that was by 107's quarters, correct?
Yeah.
Kevin Kane? I thought Kevin Kane was in 110.
He was in 110. They were relocated.
Yeah, he was relocated there.
And they picked up a job.
And that was, what, 1990 or 91? What was that? 90? I think 90.
I think it was 90.
So talk a little bit about that because I never really heard the whole
Where were
story.
they relocated to 110?
To 107, right?
Oh, they were relocated to 107 on Linden.
Yeah, and 107 into the job. 107 had come back from the other job and went into service. But you know, I mean, we were the third truck, right? I don't think we had fast trucks back then, did we?
No.
Yeah, we were additional truck. Chief just sent us to the, you know, he said, you know, get a couple guys to the roof, and because it was top floor fire in a new law tenement. I think a 4 or 5 story. I can't remember. So anyway, yeah, we went to the top floor, and you couldn't see shit, and I was just following the line, you know, basically following the line. I got to it, and all of a sudden, the radio just breaks open with a guy in a window. You know, apparently 110 was in this room where the fire was, and the ceiling, I remember seeing it the next day, it hinged down. I'm trying to remember exactly how it was, so forgive me if I'm not 100% correct, but I think it was like sort of like some sort of hung ceiling with like 2x4s, not like, you know, a typical metal aluminum one.
Right.
And somehow, you know, the thing was like this and it hinged. And Kevin was on one side towards the window side, fully involved room, and the boss and the irons man were on the other side. And 236 had that line. And I remember crawling up and they're screaming that, you know, there's a guy in there. And it was, and it was just too late by the time they could get enough of line into there and the stretch. And it just took a while.
You never heard anything, right, from him? Nothing. It was no time for him to give anything, right, at that point.
You didn't have you know, back then.
Oh, yeah, right. We didn't have the radios back then.
Only guys
right?
at Handy Talkie were the boss, the chauffeur, the OV, and the roof. The inside team didn't.
Right.
Right.
But I know 107 wound up pulling in, and they raised the bucket, and he jumped into the bucket.
Yeah.
But he was, let me tell you, he's a tough motherfucker, because the guys who told me who were in the street were watching him. And, you know, he wouldn't jump until the bucket came, and he was roasted. And I mean, this is pre-bunker gear. You know, he's wearing that piece of shit turnout coat, like you know, that basically, you know, it's just like a liner, you know.
You know what? I didn't know that he jumped in the bucket. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Bruce Stanley. Did you know him? For 107 took the bucket up.
Yeah, I didn't know that. How long did he live for? I don't even know that, to be honest with you. I'm embarrassed to say I don't remember. I just know that he.
I don't know. I'm sorry to say I just don't remember. It was 30 years ago. I'm lucky I remember what the hell I had for lunch.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
Well, I remember we used to go past that block when we used to go on runs and stuff. Obviously, going down that way, and guys used to say that was the building that Kevin Kane passed away from. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I just remember he was hearing how tough he was. He was a Marine, and he was a young guy, and just.
Yeah, tough break, man. It's all luck of the draw, right? You're on the left side or the right side, and it's fucking incredible.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. It doesn't mean you're a bad fireman or not knowing.
Yeah, it's just luck.
I mean, that's the nature of the business. It is
unpredictable, bro. It can go any way at any time. You can be doing all the things right, and then still something could go wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think the important thing is to really study these things. I mean, it was great when finally, because when I got on the job, like nothing ever happened after a fatal fire. I mean, certainly not in the 70s and the 80s. Everything, a guy got killed at a fire and you didn't hear anything, really. It was just all hearsay. And then I guess, I don't know when they started the fatal fire report, sometimes in the 90s, Louis?
Probably late 90s.
They did like a full investigation and more importantly, they put out an honest report so we could learn, like we did a whole, what would you call it? A reenactment of that fire. Like we all went back there like a week later and everybody did everything they did, and went through the motions and we all sat down. They had us all in a school auditorium and, it was like really good. And we really reviewed and saw what happened. And they've been doing that since. They do a really good job with that, actually.
Well, I was going to say, I think maybe now that I think about it, I think the Watts Street fire, I don't think it's progressed, right? So it started out where you just had the report and now you kind of get the handy-talkie transmissions. And like you said, I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, every time that comes out, unfortunately, when it does happen, guys would be in the office or we'd be downstairs and we'd listen to it on the computer and we would try and get as much information and learn the best we could, right? I mean, and like you said, some of it's luck, some of it's bad luck. You know what I mean? It's, it is what it is sometimes. And you just try and, practice staying calm and doing what you can do in certain periods, Do
you remember the first time you started listening to those recordings, you requested from safety? Yeah. And you hear yourself and you hear transmissions that you never heard at the fire, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And then you realize like it wasn't the radios. It's like, you get tunnel visioned and you're focused in on what you're doing sometimes, say you're forcing the door. Like, I realized how much of the stuff on the air we're not really hearing because we're so like involved in our task.
Right.
And yeah, I tell you, I learned a lot from those recordings.
Yeah, I think
and it made you stay calm because you didn't want somebody listening to you yelling on the radio.
You know how many times I would take a second, like I wanted to be like, we got a line in here, and I'd be like, 103, we're gonna need to, line up in here. But yeah, there's no doubt about that. It's, but yeah, I mean, it's all. That's all we could do is learn every day, every job, right? There was a couple of videos I saw not too long ago. I've been watching these old school videos on YouTube now, and you hear guys talking about, that's what you do, right? You come back from a job, everybody wants to know, what did you do? What did you do? What did you do? Because you could get better every job. You know what I mean? You could get better all the time, and hopefully that's what guys are doing. Still doing because it's less fires now, it seems. So you got to talk it up more and more, and it lasts longer and longer. You make a mistake at a job in your time, Dennis, 15 minutes later, you could make it up. You know what I mean? Now it could take you 6 months before you get a job to redeem yourself.
You're only as good as your last
job. you screw up at a job. You're like, holy shit, man! It's fucking 6 months before you get a chance to to do something.
I tell you, no, I agree with you, Louis. The critique, right? Like, I mean, and nothing formal, none of this, fancy stuff. It's like, you're done with the job. You don't even go back to the firehouse. Like I used to like getting all the guys around and we talk about what we each did. And if I had a new guy, I'd have the OV take the new guy who was on the can, show him how you got to the rear, show the OV, show him how you got to the rear, or show the guy how you got to the roof, or how you took these gates, or how you got the portable ladder back there. That critique, man, was like golden. It was fresh in everybody's head. And,
Yeah, no doubt.
And like, it wasn't a ball breaking things. So, guys have to feel safe to like say how they fucked up, and because everybody wants to be better. And if you don't really admit what you did wrong, you're not going to get better. It's really not possible.
Yeah, you do have to
just repeat it, right?
It's trust, right? You got to trust.
That's right.
And as much as the people break your balls, right? And as much as you're going to take a little bit of a beating, there's a trust factor there, and that comes from, being part of a team, being a family. You know what I mean? As corny as it sounds. I mean, in the end, you trust, and I trusted those guys. And McVay had talked about this. That was the sharpest I really ever felt I was when I was there, right? Because of all of the things that we did, but I trusted. I knew those guys were coming to get me. Same thing in 288. I used to say all the time, nobody's coming to get us except us. That's all we can depend on is, if you go down, I'm coming to get you, and vice versa. And the only way to do that is by, practicing and being better and drilling and doing all that shit, So.
Yep, definitely.
So what other jobs you got over there? What other jobs? What were we going to talk about? We were going to talk about, you went to the Vandalia job too, you said, correct?
Yeah, we were fast truck on that. By the time we got there, I think it was sort of over. That's a long run for us,
It's a long run for us.
Yeah.
It's all the way down, by the water.
Scanlon was the chief. He put us to work, and we went up to the fire floor and we found Cavallari, and there were some other guys there too. A bunch of, I don't know who the other companies were. You couldn't see, but it wasn't that hot at this point. It was hot, but I think the fire was already knocked down, and he was just in the hallway, and we had like a bunch of guys on him, and it was everybody was trying to drag him, but there was a stairway at each end of the hallway, so guys, half of the team was pulling one way and the other half was pulling the other way.
Yeah.
I just started yelling in each guy's ear, let's just pull him this way. And, we just pulled him down the hallway, but it was, it was too late. It was devastating. 3 guys from 170. It was, right. Lieutenant Cavallari, Bohan, and Bob.
Yeah. Bob.
And, I remember coming out, I'll never forget this, like the chauffeur, 170, he was in fucking shock, really. Sitting on, and he's a friend of mine, just sitting there on the bumper, like leaning, like he just.
Yeah, it's shock.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
So set that up for us, Dennis. That was a fire in how many story building of a Delhi area?
I don't know. It was, I don't know. What floor was it?
10 stories, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, it was on an upper floor. I believe it had been a wind-driven fire, right?
Yes.
Right. He got hung up on all the wires that fell in the hallway from the cable wires and shit. Is that what happened?
I don't remember that. I just know they got nailed in the hallway. And
right outside the apartment door.
Right outside
11th floor.
Right.
It was the 11th
floor. They
floor.
got roasted. And there's a lot of details, and sometimes I get it mixed with other fires because I haven't read it in a long time. But I'm pretty sure that was the job where the roof man said the fire was blowing into the apartment.
Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah.
It was like classic wind driven. That area.
That was before we were really even talking, that was 95 because Kev, 95 or 98, maybe 98.
It was after that.
We were in the squad. Right. So it was 98. I think it was
98.
Yeah. So that's how I remember because I was working that night and we were in 288 as a fireman. And
oh, really?
Yeah. So I remember the job, and then we heard, the next morning, everything that happened. And that was when we started to hear like where the wind thing started to, to happen a little bit on that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you started to get that wind driven thing. There was other factors with that job. I don't think we should get too far into that stuff, but there was some other things that were involved with that job.
Yeah. A lot of changes happened.
Yeah. No doubt about that.
A lot of tactical and procedural changes, which were really good. Listen, there's a saying that I heard not that long ago, and I love it. The fire department books are written in blood. You ever hear that?
Yes.
And it's the truth. Something happens like this, and then we figure out, we need to do A, B, C, and D. And you know what? And the job responds, and we do it. And then, something new comes up. But, I feel like, our job was good like that with change when it was really needed. And, as far as firefighting goes, and tactics and procedures. I mean, you know, it was always evolving, you know, and changing. I think.
Yeah, no,
So-
I agree.
Right. So you're in the truck for 15 years. What makes you, you know, decide to go to SOC after 15 years in 120 truck?
You know what? It's like something that was in the back of my head. I always thought I would like to do, but I didn't know if it would happen. And I got lucky because Chief Daly, who was in the 4-4,
Yeah.
he got promoted and became the chief of SOC. And it was 2005, and SOC was trying to rebuild because it was devastated from 9/11. And he asked me if I wanted to try it out, you know, and I'm like, yeah, why not? I said, can I keep my spot in case I don't like it? And he goes, yeah. So I figured never let an opportunity pass you by.
Yeah, man. That's
Especially since I could go back. What the fuck?
Nothing to lose.
Nah, so I tried it, you know, and I liked it. It was good. I think I was ready for a change, you know.
What made you go to Squad 18? Well, you were bouncing first, and that's the first spot that opened.
I
or-
thought, first of all, it's a great place, and the guys are really into it, and yeah, and I lived in Manhattan. I just thought it would be fun.
Oh, right. You lived in Manhattan.
Yeah, I just wanted to, you know, I thought it would be cool to go to completely different types of fires and, you know, different
Right.
buildings. And
go
different
down to like a triple sub cellar. Yeah.
yeah, like loft and all, you know, I mean, it didn't happen that much. And I went to some like really good jobs in Manhattan that you'd never see in Brooklyn or the Bronx.
Yeah.
You know,
Different
no
stuff.
doubt. And yeah, so I thought it was like completely different from what I was doing, you know.
And how long were you in Squad 18?
2 years.
And then you decided, what, 4 opened? And you
Go to
wanted to go to
four
rescue?
opened, and yeah, I had a shot. And again, opportunity, I took it, you know.
Right. No desire to go to 2 after all those years in Brooklyn?
I would have liked to have gone to 2, definitely, but 4 opened, and I don't know if I could have gotten to 2, whatever, but
Right. Well, like you said, jump on opportunity.
yeah,
Opportunity
you know what?
itself.
I loved every second of it.
Yeah.
Who's that chubby guy in the middle there, taking up all the fucking
He's
all that
probably listening, I'm sure.
He's probably watching and eating a cheeseburger at the same time. Just saying.
That shot is actually when he slimmed down.
You look a little heavy in that picture. Let's get a good look at Dennis over there. Maybe
It's the underwear,
he was.
the long
It's
shot.
the
Maybe
underwear.
Johnny 2 was feeding him pretty good there. I don't know. Looks like he's got, you know. Were you all tatted up back then too? When did you start with the tats? In rescue?
Oh yeah. Wild. No, way before that. I started actually back in the probably in the 80s. I got some of my first ones when it was still illegal. When you
Really? Oh, I remember the days.
oh yeah, there was no shops. You like looked in the Village Voice and there'd be a little
man.
ad,
Yeah.
and then you get some screwhead giving you a tattoo that you couldn't wait to get removed.
How many you got total now, Dennis?
Just I probably got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably 8 or 9.
That's
And
it?
I've had a number of them removed because they were so bad from, you know, you couldn't like go online and read a review about somebody.
Oh, really?
Nah. Yeah. Well, I got a couple of cover-ups. You know, you change wives, you got to cover them up. You know what I'm saying? Right here, cover up. Not for you, though. All right, so you're in 4. How long did you do in 4?
I think I did about 6 years, 6 or 7 years, something like that.
So what makes you want to call it a day?
I didn't.
What
I
happened?
didn't want to retire. I couldn't do it anymore. My body was breaking down, man. Just my back, too many injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I couldn't bend over. Like, listen, I knew it was time to go, and Dave Winthrop put a chair by the rig for me so I could sit down and get my. They had a chair with my name on it because I wound up sleeping in my bunker pants and boots because I just couldn't bend
It
over.
was just too much work to get him on.
It was too much. I had in Flushing, a stairway gave way, and I fell down that, and it was like, believe me, if I could do it, I would still be there.
Yeah. Well, people don't realize, man.
I could. That was a long time, right? I don't know.
If people don't realize that, you know, the job may not necessarily kill you, but it beats the shit out of you. If you do your job over the course of 20 years, you ain't walking away, you know, uninjured. It just ain't happening. Something, you know, back, shoulders, knees, whatever it is. If
Think
you do
about
your
the
job
average
correctly.
amount of runs this gentleman has been getting on and off the rig every year for 37 years. Think about 45, how many times he was getting on, at least 25, 30 times, maybe more. Then he goes to 38, then back then, and then to go to 120. I mean, minimum you're doing 20 runs. That's the light day. You're doing 20 runs in a 24. You know, you could be doing 30 plus. So just getting on and off the goddamn rig is enough. You know,
Yeah.
I think the bunker gear personally has a lot to do with it.
I agree too.
For me personally, and like a heavier cylinder, the PSS,
Yeah.
like all that stuff. You know, I mean, the old timers, you know, they were wearing nothing. I mean, the coat weighed nothing, right?
And blue
The
jeans.
helmets were heavy, and that was it. No, you know.
Yeah.
And they were going to 10 times as many fires, and there were more injuries now.
Yeah.
Right. The bottles were nothing back then. They were like a little pill bottle
I
on your
love
back,
the
right?
little
Yeah.
Scott cylinders. They were
Yep.
nothing. You didn't even know they were on.
Yeah.
If you wore them.
Well, I always wore it, but
I gotta say, I really love one thing about this awesome picture we have here of you, and it's the wedge you have in your helmet. Is that standard? Because, like, you know, it's like a doorstop. It's anything. I mean, that's
I've always had a wedge. If I'm the first guy in the door,
chock the door, man.
always.
I think
So
we're going to talk
smart.
about the porn
Without
star
didn't even
must
think about it.
That's what I thought you were talking about. Yeah, between that and the Bob Guccione glass.
Oh, now or then? What do you mean?
Did he freeze up? He froze up.
He froze. It's better off. We don't have to hear him.
Dial up. No, I'm telling you, I got to tell you, yeah, that I was zooming in on the photo just so people could see what was doing, and you know, I see that wedge and I'm like, that's fucking brilliant. And every week I learn a little bit more, you know, from you guys about your job, and that just struck me as like, wow, all right, you know, totally the way it should be. You know, everyone should probably have one of those, right?
No, everybody has.
That's going on way before I was on a job.
But you have probably 3 or 4 of those in your pocket. You know, you have one in your helmet. You might have one. You know, the guys on the back step have them in the hose. You know, that's like an invaluable tool. You have a chock for everything. You're always chocking doors.
And when you're forcing the door, you can
forcing door, you use it.
Purchase.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get a little hold on it so it didn't spring back shut. Yeah, the chock is.
What was one of your better job? What was one of your best jobs in Rescue 4? Do you remember like something that sticks out to you that you say, you know, that was probably one of in my top 5 or top 3?
Ooh, I didn't think of that.
Something where you got a unit citation or
I don't know. We had a first due job where we made a grab in the Big 6.
Yeah. What floor? You were higher floor?
Like the 4th or 5th floor.
Uh-huh.
There was a apartment going, and big heavy woman, and she had one of those little mechanical, what do you call those little carts that they?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. A scooter or something.
She was unconscious and fell out of that thing.
The Lark.
And we couldn't even get in the apartment.
Oh, it's blocking the door?
Yeah, so we dragged her out. It was me and Mike Washington and Eddie Sanchez came up.
Steady Eddie.
Oh, no
favorites.
No,
she was good. She lived. She did well.
Oh, no picky inky, picky bounty, Eddie Sanchez.
Did you guys get anything for that? What'd you get for it? Unit or?
No, I got a B.
Oh, all right.
I had found her, and then they came up and helped me get her up. That was it.
Nice.
How was it when you were up in 316? I was thinking about that today too. When you guys were up at 316, when they were working on the firehouse, were you there then or no?
Yeah. Well, I retired when we were still there.
That was a good spot for you guys, right?
Yeah, that was good. I mean, anything's better than Queens Boulevard.
Oof.
Well, if you're on 316, you got the GCP right there. You get out fast, man, and you have you have a route to go anywhere really in Queens.
Yeah, it was a good location. Those were good guys. It was a good house. You know, we were in a corrugated tin firehouse, like a tin house.
A tin house, exactly right.
You know, originally they were supposed to, Squad 288 was supposed to go to 316 before they went to 288.
Is that right? I didn't even know that.
Yep.
That would have been better.
That would have been.
I could hate that. Sitting with the hazmat guys.
Yeah.
You know, we actually have some other pictures here, Kev, of the kind of work that you're doing now, Dennis.
Oh, nice.
Check this
Yeah.
out. And I'm gonna add a little tune for you in the background there. A little hipstery, hippie.
Oh, hipster. Did you say hipster?
So Dennis does a
It's
Dennis,
Frank's old lady.
Here's Frank's old lady.
Yep, Frank. Cheers. And Tammy, we're very sorry.
Tammy, sorry, sweetie.
Dennis,
yeah.
why don't you explain what it is these are?
Well, that's like my scale model of like what the South Bronx looked like when I was there. You know, I like doing scale models, and I was trying to recreate you know, things you'd see in New York in the 70s and the 80s. And
Look at that dime.
like that.
Is that incredible?
That's incredible, man.
That's an 8-foot dime.
How do you have the patience to sit there and do that, bro? That's got to take hours.
You know
and
what?
hours.
It keeps me sane. Yeah, no, it takes weeks and weeks and weeks. It's my thing, man. I get, you know, when it's time to do that, I sit down and I get into the work, and
It takes you somewhere else.
yeah, yep.
You know,
That's
Kev actually sent me some video.
Oh,
I don't know if you
found
know
this.
it.
We found this video, Dennis, of
You actually.
you when you're actually working on these models. We found this.
Check it out.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue.
How did you guys know? I thought I hit it.
Is that frowned upon? I don't know.
Puffy glue?
You picked the wrong week to
Dude,
quit skipping
How
glue.
do you get the detail on a dumpster that small? What? I don't understand how that could possibly be.
That's plastic too.
That's just plastic that you paint.
And I melted it with a lighter to get the bends like. Well, the thing is, you got to have the real thing to look at, a picture of the real thing, and just
And where is that in your head?
the picture.
Yeah.
No, I use a real photograph.
Oh,
It's,
you do?
No, I found if you're trying to like reproduce something with your imagination, it's never right. You really need a real photograph.
You must
know.
have a ton of photographs of
I
vacant
do.
buildings.
I have like 10,000.
Well, where do you go? You're not going to New York anymore.
What's that? Oh, the photos. Oh
Yeah.
no, I have old photos in New York.
Really?
Oh, is that what you? So
I
that's
have
what
books.
you're
I
going.
have a bunch of books. New York from the 70s.
Like
and
this dumpster here. How long does it take you to recreate that dumpster?
You know, straight hours. I could probably do that in maybe 10 hours,
Holy shit, dude!
15 hours. But I, you know, I don't sit there at one time. I can't.
Right.
Wow. So the building that's behind, there's a couple more, Pete. Go to the other building,
Yeah.
the first building. How long is that? You know, like that store. How long is that? Is that a month?
Yeah, I mean, like something like that. I use kit parts too from model railroads. Like I
Right?
use a lot of the pieces from their kits.
With the model
Right.
glue?
The glue?
But look at the detail. Look at the detail on that, bro. It's like that.
This
looks
one's
like-
incredible.
Yeah.
tin windows. You know, all the tin. The first floor windows are cinder blocked up. That's what it was like. You know.
And how big is like the city? I didn't. That's Dennis's Instagram page. How big is the city that you have made? Is it like on a big, you know, piece of plywood or something?
Diorama. It's about 12 feet by 3 feet,
Wow.
and that that building's about 6 inches high, 8 inches high. It's a 5 or 6 story.
I
Oh,
mean,
it's only that tall? It looks so much taller than that. It's so weird looking in the
Yeah.
picture.
It's 1/87 scale.
And do you sell this
amazing.
stuff? Do you sell any of these things? Like people?
I haven't tried to. No, I mean I just do it for me. You know.
we
Watch
have a
how
guy
many
in.
people are looking to buy it now, bro. Watch.
Well, here you go. Rest in peace, Frank Sutphin, because his wife was gonna, you know, she took his iPad away from him before, but he's asking if you'll sell any of them, you know.
Yeah,
So that's
no
great.
problem. You can Instagram me,
Well, we're
Yeah,
gonna
message
put
him.
up,
message me.
we're gonna put up Dennis's Instagram on there.
As Dan Wilson always does, coming in shit hot. I am going to share your IG link right now so that people can see. He's at, for the audio listeners, at DKBLDG. Boom.
I'll tell you, you know who you had on the show who's a really good artist?
Who, Pete's old lady?
Hey,
Oh!
yeah.
Paul Hashhagen.
Yeah, Paulie's good.
We just
Very
put out
good.
one of his shirts.
Amazing artist.
Another one of his shirts. Yeah.
We were talking to Hashi about that. I mean, I guess it's kind of like therapy for you at this point, right? Not like I'm not talking like,
oh man, yeah.
You know.
Are you kidding me?
yeah.
You know, it was easy. It used to be easy to retire. It's like, because of social media, you can't retire anymore. Right. I mean, like, I watch this stuff. I mean, how many pages are there on Instagram of old New York City fire?
I follow most of that stuff. I love that stuff.
I mean, or videos on YouTube. It, like, you go down that rabbit hole of watching that stuff.
Yeah.
And I sit there and I'm like, you know, I start getting sentimental and I want to be back at work, you know, and it's like, the old days, guys just retired and went to Florida and played golf, and you know,
yeah.
maybe they got the WNYF still.
do you do old firehouses in that same scenario, like with the buildings?
I do have some firehouses. They're not in that. They're not into the. I have one I want to make an abandoned firehouse, but they're not in that diorama yet.
Brian,
I got pieces all over.
Dennis, Brian Davin is in the chat. He says he worked with you in 120 truck. Is that how you say his last name? Am I screwing it up?
Yes. Was that him on the floor above? Asking about that.
Here he is. As a former member of 120 Truck, it was an absolute pleasure to work with this man throughout the 90s. Brian David.
Yeah, he's good man. He's a battalion chief somewhere now. I think in the Bronx. I'm not sure.
It's amazing how many people you meet in your career. I mean, for you especially, I mean, almost 40 years. It's like when you think about all the faces and all the people that are here, that aren't here, it's crazy, right, to think about
when
that.
are you going to set those models on fire, bro?
When I've lost my fucking mind.
Oh, my God.
Well, send us the video.
So we can post
it. Yeah, we'll make a video of it. Just send it to us. We'll post it.
Should I do that in the house?
Yeah, do it in the house. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Good Lord.
Listen, is it that time, Pete? For you know what?
Yes, I believe it's that time.
Yes.
You know what time?
Oh, hold one moment.
Pete's one step
I
behind.
now know the time that you are talking about, which is, of course, our old school tip of the day.
And listen, it doesn't get much older than this guy right here, bro.
There's older guys than me still around.
Chief Steve, bro. Chief Steve's got 40. How many years did you put in, Dennis? 38? 30?
37. A little over 37.
37 years. Chief Steve's working on 42, I think, bro. So,
Really?
Yep. I keep telling him, what are you doing? What?
Well, again, it's a little bit different jumping on off the rig in a rescue or the truck. I'm not saying it's, but you know, when you're the chief, it's a little bit easier. I'm just saying.
How long has he been a chief?
Oh, geez. He's deputy since 2001, right after 9/11. He was the first class.
Hey, he's a good student, your brother.
He was a very good student. Yep.
I took the captain's test 4 times.
I studied for like 2 weeks, right? What were you studying for, like 2 weeks at a time?
Like 10 minutes. I was really motivated. But the leave where?
So some of us learned about the wedge in the helmet today. What else are we going to learn?
Give us your tip.
Tip. Oh man, let's see. I was thinking of a few things. One of my favorites was take time to save time.
Take time
to save time, and that starts like, you know, get dressed properly. If it takes an extra second to get the right tool off the rig, let's say, go get it, because it's going to take a lot longer to go back from the building and go back to the scene. Your size up, right? You know what? You got a high-rise project or something. You got fire on the 12th floor. You know what? If you're so close to the building that you don't have time to count the floors, you know, like your truck stops right in front, stop, because you better know, because you can't go by, you know, the report that the dispatcher says fire to Louis. How many times?
Yeah, it's on the wrong
floor. It's on the 14th floor. It's on the 8th floor. You know, the smoke's everywhere. So, you know, it's like the size up. access to a building, you know, take the time to make sure you're running into the right building. I mean, you got like a row of frames, you got smoke pushing out of, you know, 4 cornices, right?
Yeah.
It's in the like, which is the fire building? Where did it start? Like, you might have to stop and really look, you know. So
you never want to stop, right?
nobody,
You're always
not when everyone's up your ass, right?
That's it. I mean, if you really think about it, you never want to stop, because probably that is always the underlying factor, is that you feel like somebody's going to get there before you. I think
I
that,
know. And that's one of the negatives about our department, because
right.
we have so much manpower.
I agree.
That so many other departments don't even have a fraction of that, you know. But you got to make it happen, you know. I mean, that's what's great about the truck. When you get new guys, you can break them in the way, you know, they should be, you know, broken in. I mean, I'd make them stop and say, "What floor's the fire on?" You know, count the floors. Did you know? You know, I go, "Was there a fire escape in the front?" You know, like,
yeah.
like take the time. You know, another big thing I had, like a real pet peeve of mine, is crawling in the fire. Right, guys? How many times everybody's walking into fire? Standing up in zero visibility all the time. I mean, you watch all these videos, right, from all over the country and even New York City. It's like you get to that door, you know. I learned this from the old school guys because they didn't wear the mask, right? So they had to be low.
Right.
They had to be low, number one, so they could breathe, because, you know, the layers, the smoke layers, it's much less dense at the floor level. I mean, these guys, I remember they went in like a snake. They were flat on their belly, you know, like going in like this, dragging their tools, dragging the hose. It was unbelievable. And, you know, we learned it because of the vacant buildings too, with all the holes in the floors. And you know, so you could feel what you're doing. And how are you doing a search if you're not crawling, you know? Right. So plus, you know, but the thing is, just remember to monitor the heat overhead when you're down there. You know, I didn't really put my hood on until, you know, like in the beginning, I didn't wear the hood in the early part of the job, unless I really needed to. But I'd like to feel what was going on with my ears.
That's funny you say that, because I never wore my hood either.
You know, I felt like guys get too encapsulated. So I would, and if I had the hood on, I would pull it back around my ear occasionally, and I'd stand up real quick just to get a feeling. Or I'd put my hand, you know, I'd pull my glove up, put my hand over my head. I mean, you got to monitor the conditions overhead, you know, because the heat could be, I mean, I'm not a big numbers guy with that, but it could be a couple of 100 degrees difference, right? I'm sure.
Yeah, no doubt about
you know, and you don't even, you know, if the bunker gear, like, you're so encapsulated. I mean, it's easy to get caught. I mean, I've been in
false sense of security.
Yeah, I've been in a couple of flashovers. I mean, I went through a window, you know, in 120. We were over on Hopkinson, just north of Atlantic, and we had one of those little mini brownstones, and they torched gasoline on the front door and right onto the parlor floor. Get up to the stoop, and couldn't even force it. We had to hit the door with water just so we could cool it down. And the line is coming, and so I get in and I go to the left, to the hallway, down to the back on the parlor, and the line's coming in going the other way. Anyway, water's operating, right? Right. This is what Captain was talking about, right? Water operating. Still a flashover. And I'm telling you, this is a flashover. I'm in a back bedroom on the parlor floor, and I'm doing a search. And I remember I'm on the floor and I'm sticking my hand under the bed, and all of a sudden it just becomes unbearable heat.
No shit.
I'm telling you, unsurvivable heat. And all I did, I knew there was a window behind me, and, you know, I didn't really think about, you know, looking for my secondary egress, because if I went into a hairy situation, sort of one of the first things, you know, we did was, how are we getting out of here, looking for a secondary means of egress. But this day, for whatever, I had a line operating, I had good water, I just was focusing on my search. I trusted the engine, you know, and I mean, talk about luck. I have a window behind me, single pane glass.
Thank God.
Right? Old school. No bars with a setback roof.
Oh my God. It was like
12 inches
Disney
under
World.
the window. I just rolled through the glass.
That's Disney World.
I just rolled through the fucking glass. I mean,
You couldn't even make that up.
forget it. PSS. If I had a PSS and I needed it,
It wasn't
the
happening.
reality of it is, I'm
Yeah,
sorry. You know,
How many times did you go to critique a job afterwards, and when you go up there, you see the hand marks on the walls of guys standing up?
Wait, right.
Yeah, that's right. Of standing up, doing a search, standing up. You're like, these guys weren't even crawling, right?
and I'm telling you, and it was like a Hollywood thing. Like the fire just came out right behind me. And what's his name? This guy Jerry Quinn from 176 was on that setback roof. And he was like, he had his Halligan cocked and he was about to take that window. And I rolled onto him. And he said, I almost gave him a heart attack.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah, you know, I mean, yeah.
That's all basic stuff, dude, right? I mean, it's all
I don't
basic
feel like I
stuff.
did anything wrong there.
Yeah, it's all
I
basic
mean, water was
stuff.
operating, you know.
We just get back to basics, right? It's all back to basic stuff. Everything you're talking about.
Yeah, man.
Would you guys say that being in a SOC unit in the FDNY is like taking the basics to the finest point that you can get them, meaning like perfection? You know what I mean? Is that an element of being in a SOC unit in the FDNY?
I don't think so, right? Perfection. It's just a different job. Like each company just has a different function, you know. First new truck has the 5th floor, second new truck the floor above. You know, the SOC unit comes in and they're just filling in the holes. I mean, we're doing other things, you know, that can't be covered because of manpower issues. You know, it's so it just everything gets covered, right?
Yeah, I don't think I wouldn't say that either.
No, man. Some amazing guys in the truck companies and engine companies.
Yeah, just that those guys don't. You know,
anybody.
listen, just because you're not going to SOC doesn't mean
Doesn't mean anything.
Right. It doesn't mean anything. It's just you know, you want to stay in your own house and you don't want to deal with all the other crap that goes along with. There's a lot of crap that goes along with being in SOC, and you know,
a lot of shit you got to know.
Yeah, and some guys don't want to do that. You know, they're set. They're happy with the house that they're in. They like doing first do work, which, you know, 288 we didn't do that much first do work. You know, RES4CUE, you know, you do some work, but you're not doing a lot of first do work. So, you know, you give up that part to cover a half a borough or a full borough, you know, so it's different work, you know, so some guys don't want to give that up, especially if you're in a good truck or a good engine. So nothing wrong with that.
No, but I know also it's a good change if you've been around a while.
Right, exactly.
I think it's good to see the whole job, like, you know, work in an engine, you work in a truck, whatever, you know, there's so many different, again, opportunity. There's so many opportunities in the fire department. See all angles, you know?
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Would you do anything different from the start to the end, bro?
Would I do anything different? Probably. But I can't tell you those things. It's too embarrassing. Yeah, maybe, you know, but I would do it all again.
Right.
Oh my God! Listen, if there was a way to go back, or if there was a way to, you know, extend it.
Right.
Oh yeah, nah.
I think I would tell myself some different things, you know, when you first get on. I mean, I didn't know anything about the job, you know, like I didn't have anybody in my family who was in the job, you know, but I might tell myself different things now, you know, stuff that I've told people that I know that are getting on the job. I've given them advice. I had no advice, you know, and but I remember, I think I had 2 or 3 years on the job, and I talked to, what the heck was his name? Higgins. He was from the Bell Club, Joe Higgins. And he was a buff in 33 truck. So, you know, he had said something to me about 33 truck. And I knew a few friends of mine at a probie school went to 33 truck. So I put, you know, I said, you know what, I want to go to more fires. I want to go up to 33 truck. So I went up there. You know, the most embarrassing thing that you could do, right? Dennis is walking with a cake to go talk to the, you know, to the captain, you know, and so I went to go see him a few times, Captain Finnemore.
Oh, Mike Finnemore.
Yeah.
You went to 113, yeah.
Yeah, right. So I went to go see him, and I was actually in the process of, I was kind of like the next guy up, and I was ready to go. So the squad thing came up, and I tried. Corrado talked me into doing that. It wasn't my thing, but he kind of talked me into it, and that set me on a different path. So. Sometimes I think, maybe I should have went to 33 truck for, things like that.
Right, stuff
you
like
never know. You never know how it's going to work out.
I mean, I probably should have gone a sock younger. I think it's better to have been a fireman in sock if you're going to be an officer there.
Yeah, I got you.
I have a better understanding because all the technical rescue stuff. A lot of that was brand new to me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wetzel's having that same. Wetzel's doing that now.
Yeah,
Wetzel,
I mean, and you guys, it's like, I mean, I was familiar with some rigging things, a little high angle because I was a technical rock climber, but that was it. Everything, and then I wound up going to scuba school, and
screw that. That's why I didn't go to the rescue.
Dude, I'm doing
that shit.
4 years old.
Fuck that,
I'm with all these 30-year-old something guys, right? And I'm not even a good swimmer to begin with.
Screw that. Exactly.
And then you're in Pennsylvania, and it's fucking snowing out. We're in this quarry, 90 feet, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm like an old guy.
Screw this shit.
And I'm like, but I felt like if you're going to be in a company that does that, you have to have an idea, right? What's going on?
I forget who I used to break rescue for. I forget who it was. I don't know if it was Woodrip or what the other guy's name was. I forget what his name was.
What do you look like?
There was a few times when we would go to back you guys up when he was going in the water at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And he used to just look at me, and I used to be like, man, thank God you're going in that water, like that inky abyss, like that shit that in the river. Oh my God.
I mean, I never sat around, like you're hoping for a job, saying like, "Wow, I hope we get a dive." I
had hoping
we get a trench rescue.
Yeah, right, exactly. I said the same. I mean, that was just part of doing the job, right?
Didn't Evan say the same thing? I think, right? No one likes that.
Ruffy, Hank Malay says that he wished you went to 33 truck.
That's some of a bitch.
Look at that. There you go.
There you go.
He loves me. I know he loves me. I know he loves me.
What's not to love, bro?
It's only human.
So Pete, that guy who won the contest, did he send over his email?
Yeah, so Anthony Gonzo, I believe. Yeah, so we want you to email us at gettingsaltyexperience@gmail.com. If you email us there, we'll send you the goods. Mink of the goods. All right.
Man. So we're going to wrap this bad boy up. What do you got?
Well, Louis wanted me to show a couple of extra photos. Louis has a couple of things.
Yeah, so I wanted to just wanted to talk about real quick, Dennis. Paul Greco.
Yeah.
He was Squad 270. Great guy. I had a chance to work with him quite a few times. Great fireman.
Yep.
He was in 18 also, Squad 18.
Right. So he was
that's right. Yeah,
he was in 47 engine. He went to 275 engine. After 9/11, he ended up going to Squad 18 to help him out because of the manpower issue. And then I think he was only there a year or two, and he ended up coming to Squad 270. He was down at the site all the time. Legit guy. 270 posted something. I just wanted to read it because I just thought it was a cool thing. Yesterday, we lost retired firefighter Paul Greco to 9/11 related illness. Paul came to the squad in late 2002 and retired in August of 2013. He started his career in August of 90 and 47, 275. He stepped up to go to help the squad 18 and who had lost 7 members on 9/11. Please keep Paul and his wife and 3 sons in your prayers. So I just wanted to mention something about him because, we're losing these guys all the time. And he's been fighting this a long time, a very, very long time. So he was a good guy, good fireman. Really taught a lot of guys, a lot of good things in the squad. So
brutal.
There we go, Paulie. Cheers, brother.
Yeah, brother.
Cheers, man.
All right. I wanted to, so for us, before we get to Dennis, before we wrap it up, We got a Q&A on Monday on the next podcast. So we'll have question and answers. Send your stuff to, I probably have about 100 to go through. So we're going to have some good stuff. Next Thursday, we have Captain Mike Everett. Great guy, 33 truck guy, 44 truck guy.
Ooh, that's going to be good when he talks
Smart
about
41.
When he talks about 33 and 44, how he went from one to the other. Right, Dennis? There was a little rivalry between 33 and 44.
Yeah, you know how those towel ladders are.
Screw that shit. You can have those jobs.
Towel ladder envy, you know.
Yeah. The big stick envy.
Yeah, man. 2 weeks from today, let it out there, bro. Freddie LaFamina. I just got the okay today, so
Chief LaFamina.
Chief LaFamina on.
Excellent.
In 2 weeks. So that should be an interesting situation.
And listen, here's the big one. You ready for this? Next week we're going out to film Gone But Not Forgotten.
Dennis, you like this.
With none other than Chief Steve. You guys got to get to meet Chief Steve for the first time.
Oh.
We are going to go to old firehouses and see what they are today. Like there's a couple that the guy from CNN, right? What the hell's his name?
Anderson Cooper.
Anderson Cooper. We're going to go to a couple of other firehouses and see what they are today because Chief Steve is a big history buff, a big actually Manhattan buff. So he's going to come along with us. Maybe we'll
go to the old firehouse on Center Street.
Well, I think I probably have. Yeah. I know which one that is. I have probably a list. Yeah, it's incredible. I think I have a list of like.
Remember when that was for sale?
Is that right?
For like $100,000. It's probably worth about 20 million. Now.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I remember when it was.
I know which one you're talking about too. It's absolutely
just a little canal, and it's like a 4 or 5 bay. It's a big Beaux-Arts.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Like balconies and Rhode Island balconies. It's
right? All sorts of shit on that thing, right?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Hopefully, we'll get a half a smile out of Chief Steve. I don't know, bro. We'll see what happens.
We'll have to tickle him if that's what.
That puppet better come out with us too.
Oh, I'll bring in a Chief Steve puppet with us, bro. Yep.
Yeah. I'm not shooting anything without that puppet.
They might have a little debate going on, the Chief Steve puppet and the real Chief Steve. So look for that. We'll be filming it next week. We'll see how long producer Pete takes to get that fixed up and edited.
Yep.
And that's about it. Listen,
you can find us though.
Right, Lieutenant Gordon, thank you. We much appreciate it. Respect your time. You are the getting salty guy. You are the salty guy.
When we first started this, Dennis, I have to say I had a bunch of guys popped into my head, and you are like one of the first guys. I mean, every time we've always talked, you did it, the real deal. There was no, fluff, and that's what FDNY guys especially, right? You're looking for those types of guys. There's no fluff there. So congratulations on a great career. It's always good to see you.
Thank you.
Break your chops a little bit. You know what I mean? Hopefully we'll get to see you.
You and the Bob Guccione glasses. They're awesome.
Everybody stay healthy, huh?
Listen, I got to tell a quick Dennis Gordon story. So I don't even know if you remember this. We go to a man under a train. We can't find this thing off of Queens Boulevard. It's on Queens Boulevard on the overpass, not too far from your quarters. We're driving up and down Queens Boulevard. Rescue Force driving up and down Queens Boulevard. Finally, we find the guy. You guys find the guy up, but we have to cut a fence, go up this hill with his old trees and shit, and walk down like maybe a couple of 100 yards to find this guy. Right?
Oh, was that the Long Island Railroad?
Yes. So what happens is I figured there's 8,000 guys who want to get to the victim. So I figured I'm chauffeur, I'll hang back. I rig up a 2-to-1 because instead of carrying a guy down through the trees, maybe we can lower him through a 2-to-1. So you guys come back, dump him in the Stokes, we lower him with a 2-to-1. And like 2 minutes later, after I'm cleaning up, you come back and you shake my hand and you go, "Hey, thanks for thinking outside the box, bro. Good fucking move." And I was like, "Whoop, all right, man. That guy's all right." You know what I'm saying?
I said that? Are you sure that was me?
I'm not making it up.
Hey, Dennis, what are you growing on the farm, by the way? Are you growing anything up there? You got a farm up there? What are you growing?
Oh, yeah.
Hemp?
Organic vegetables, bro.
Organic vegetables.
Organic veggies, and I got about 40 acres of hay.
Hey!
Hey, baby.
Is the
Hey.
vectors in the ground already? You could start putting them in the ground.
Nah.
No, it's too
The
cold.
only thing, are you kidding me? We're getting snow this week.
I know. It's crazy.
Oh,
I know.
all right.
The only thing I got in is the sugar snap peas.
Yeah. You could do all that stuff early.
Peas can go in very early.
Yeah.
That's it.
Lettuce.
Yeah.
All right, Petey.
Petey, take us out, bro.
All right.
Well, first and foremost, for all the audio listeners, if you aren't listening, watching rather on youtube.com/Gettin Salty Experience, we really appreciate you guys, especially this week. Massive week. Had a lot of views and a lot of giving us the finger. Hello. Give us the finger. You guys got to hit that like, subscribe, that share button. But I'm telling you,
like it up.
Massive week for us this week, guys. Thank you guys so much. We are noticing, and believe me, other people are noticing as well. So thank you for that. YouTube.com/Gettin Salty Experience. On Instagram, where you get all the up-to-the-minute information from Louie up there. You can find us at Salty Dog Inc., of course. And if you want to buy a cool The Bronx t-shirt like these two twins right here are wearing, you can find it at www.gettinsaltyapparel.com. Gentlemen and lady, there was one lady in the chat tonight, Tammy, who was very angry about this. Thank you for joining us, everyone.
Hey, Frank, let me ask you a question. Does Tammy wear a thong? I'm just asking. I don't know,
Yes.
bro.
For a friend.
Actually,
I'm asking for a friend.
I'm asking
Frank
for
in
a
the
friend.
chat prior, what's really funny? Someone in the chat actually asked him exactly that question. Does Tammy wear a thong? Ask him for a friend. And Frank responded in kind. He said, yes. Thank you. She does.
Yahtzee. Hold on a minute.
Yahtzee.
Boing.
Here he is. He's telling us we need to come to the Jersey Shore. Only if your old lady's there, Tammy.
Oh.
Tammy, what's up? Frankie, we love you.
Frank will come down there. No problem.
All right.
Yeah, brother. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Seriously.
Dude,
We
stay low and go.
Dennis, good seeing you, my man.
Thank you. Good
Thanks
to
for
see
being
you
on. I
guys.
appreciate
Hang
it.
in there, Dennis. Hang in there, Dennis.
See you at the
Hold
big
on.
one, boys.
Stay healthy, brothers.
You too, man.
Stay on.